the main thing with haulers has been the efficiency aspect of it, which is, does a guy need to get out of the truck in order to unlock or make this so that it can be emptied with the automated arms? And
when the answer to that was yes, that was kind of where our conversation stopped with a lot of
And it makes sense, because if you put yourself in the position of one of the drivers, you don't want to be hopping in and out of the truck.
No, especially like if you're seated on the opposite side, like so you're a left-hand driver and you have to walk all the way around. There's some trucks I'm like, we could make it work. Like when you're the stand-in on the right-hand side driver. But yeah, no, it was always something that we were like, we understand.
So welcome back to the Waste Nexus podcast. If you haven't signed up to get these online or on whatever your favorite audio device is, please do that. There's probably a link somewhere. I don't know if I'm supposed to point at it. But we also have our event coming up this fall, which you can apply to join. Charlie will be there, probably. I'll be there. So that's a fun thing. Right now, today, we have a little bit more fun thing. We have a all Pittsburgh podcast.
And two sets of brothers.
Yes. So today we have the Blazer brands with us, which is Justin and Quentin. Guys, do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Quentin.
Yes, and I'm Justin. So do you want us to get full into Blazer brand?
We'll get there.
I was going to say.
My understanding is this was born out of your father passed away and you guys were mulling over how do we honor Dad. And
pretty correct.
Dad, I saw some pictures. Dad had some, I see where the logo came from, right?
Yes.
There was some.
It was based off of his flexing arm.
Yeah. So, there was some pythons on the guy. That's Ken?
Yes.
Yeah. And he passed, 2013? Yeah. And so you guys were teenagers?
I was.
You were
19.
freshman. Yeah.
You were 18.
Yeah.
So
I was like senior in high school.
Yeah.
And Justin was a freshman in college.
Yeah. And that's hard. That's an unexpected thing. So I could see where that shapes life in a meaningful way. What was walk us through a little bit of that germination of that idea of how that came around.
So I would say that what I remember, and I'll let him kind of get going, but Quentin walked in one day and we were just kind of searching through life. Well, what are we going to do from here? And he had brought up our dad's idea of this strap.
Yep.
Kind of like the concept of it. And I remember him walking in and being like, this is what we should do. And at that point in time, Quentin was fully in and he just kind of dragged me into it.
He's the action oriented.
He's the action oriented one of us.
There, that's why he and I get along.
Yes, I was going to say.
We had a raccoon that was just getting into our trash can, I think, for about a week straight, which is what drove me to say, Justin, we should do something about this.
So problem plus inspiration,
a little bit of motivation.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Equals outcome. Okay. So what was the first one you built? I saw some little images of wood.
So the first one we built was pieces of wood and we used brass, like plumbing fixtures. And then we had a regular bungee cord that I think we taped it together to make it look like
it was duct tape involved.
It was duct tape.
Good.
Yes.
So all good projects start with some bad duct tape application. Right?
Yes, we did that. Then we had gone into a prototyper, which was actually one of our original, this didn't work out. So we spent a lot of money on a prototype that we don't have a picture to show you of. But then after that, I think we kind of upgraded to 3D printing before we just kind of, for the injection mold, we had our design set in what it was and we just had them cut steel. And from then we've just been rolling with that design.
I don't think that design's changed much, right?
No. I mean, we have a new feature on it, which is the automated release, but the core of what we created is still present.
The hockey puck shaped thing hasn't changed much.
That is the same on the inside. There are caps, so they got a little smaller over time.
I don't really get much on the inside.
But that would be the only thing that changed, and that was just to kind of keep our price. We had some big parts that didn't need to be as big.
Right?
So but other than that, it's the same standard product.
So walk me through. I'm very familiar with a lock bar, gravity, right, on a front load and all that. And I'm also familiar with raccoons in my trash. And my wife bought straps that were not your brand. And my experience with them was they kind of worked, but at service time, they just found their way like buried in the trees or something like that. Like they're now lost because I think they got serviced when we had all this snow this past winter, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so I guess walk me through mechanically, like what happens at the time of pickup, and somebody have to like unlatch it and then relatch it, or how does that like, what's the workflow there?
So I know that one thing at pickup for us is ours is attached to the can.
Yeah, that's
so,
big.
Yeah, it's not going to end up in a bush or anywhere nearby. And that's a big thing for us, is just keeping it. It's one unit. And then recently, as Quentin mentioned, we have the auto notch that we've added to our strap. So our strap has 2 settings. One's a full strength, where you're able to stop everything and you keep it behind your house. But when you set it out at the curb, it's a smaller notch.
Got it.
And that squeezes its way through with about 10 to 15 pounds of waste when it gets dumped and hits that lid.
2 trash bags in there, it's going to empty.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I was trying to figure this out because I've read about this auto notch for, I don't know, 2 years now, 3 years.
Yeah, it hit the market last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah, so
Well, we've been talking about the auto
times fungible.
This is true.
But I've read about it, and I always kept, how does this work? I never really spent the time to look at it until we scheduled this. And it is actually, it's such a subtle feature.
Yeah.
Because it's not a big, like the normal thing's whatever this wide, and that little auto notch is just a, a half inch.
What would you, it's an eighth
I mean,
inch?
there's it's about 1/8 of an inch on each side.
Right.
So it's a very small that just kind of just hangs on whenever the can falls over. But yeah, it doesn't, nothing as strong as those big ones.
Yeah, the big one. So my 8-year-old can hook up the big one. And it's so funny to watch her because she will put the full into it and just like lean down into it, and it goes boop, right in. He's just like walks away.
Just accomplished.
Yeah.
Great. Walks away, loves it. It's great that way. Well, so when you were doing the modeling, one of the things I read about was you ran into some challenges with suppliers and durability. So tell us a little bit about that, because everybody likes the idea of creating their own product, but not everybody talks about all the
hardware is hard.
Yeah, hardware is hard.
I would say one of the
first accomplishment would have been working with our finding somebody to make it here. So all of the parts are made in the USA.
Yes.
So finding somebody that had a line for entry level, as opposed to like, hey, you have to spend $500,000
on 100,000 units. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So that was the big accomplishment. And I think Quentin found our molder that we work with now.
Just sheer beating the phone to death.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the second big part of it was realizing how much when you do, this physical product, how you don't just kind of take your plans and your models and hand it to the team at the manufacturer and say, hey, we're good to go. We actually had to work with them to figure out how our molds are going to work and really get into that. So
they probably had some feedback of, what if you try this?
Yeah, they did that. And we couldn't, right now we have a self install. So it just drills right into the can, the parts. And that probably took us about a year to actually engineer to make it. We had a solution that could do that, but getting the cost down to something that was reasonable.
Yeah, I have the older version that is the screw in from the bottom version. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Which is the same thing in a way, but different application.
Yeah. I think with the screw, that was our first
engineering hurdle.
Yeah, because it really was a staple in the installation process. So
we didn't want you taking out hex wrenches.
Yeah, we didn't want no tools.
Yeah,
it's like we didn't want to hear people complain about.
Well, it's a hurdle to them actually getting it done.
Yeah,
getting it out of the box and getting it on the can. And,
right, exactly. And that was for our manufacturer. They're a 100-year-old plastic injection molder, and so this, like,
we're like, how do you guys not know how to do this?
Yeah,
and they were like, because this is just like every product has its own little thing that it needs.
So point is that I had to take a self-tapping screw and force a nut onto it.
Yep.
That didn't belong on it.
And then I transferred it to Justin, and he conveyed it to the engineering team, and they saw it from a manufacturer's perspective as to how to make that bolt.
You had to make the bolt too.
Yeah. So we tried to do that for all low cost.
And that's what people don't get. They don't realize that like the idea can exist, but the bolt isn't in, there's no bolt.
No.
Someone has to make this bolt.
Yeah. Right. The initial bolt cost, I think, around $10.
Yeah.
Or $1,000. We needed 2 for our kit. So we were like, this is not going to work.
Yeah. So we figured that out. sheer force sometimes is like you just keep racking your brain around the problem you're addressing until you almost see the light.
So from where you guys sit in making the product in the USA, the whole tariff, inflation environment, the change in oil price, all this stuff, that's insulated you to some degree from the global economic thing that's going on around you, right?
Yes, I would say absolutely. I mean, you still could find like deep in the supply chain some like whether it be rubber something. You're not like isolated, but we've only ever paid tariffs on we get our molds made somewhere in other places. So that's where we love. But those have been in place for almost a decade, I want to say.
There's a friend of mine here in Pittsburgh who runs a injection molding company, and he's told me about some of the stuff they go through, and it's a fascinating process. Yeah, right. It really is a cool injection molding is a really cool process. Well, so in your sale process, how did you get from where you started to then, who came first as the big retailer? You guys were just at a big trade show, right?
Yeah, we just attended ACE's trade show. Yes. So
so the first sales were what? You guys?
Amazon.
Amazon
was how we got started. It's what allowed us to prove that there was a market for this type of thing. We got in with Lowe's was our first big brand that we got in with, but we're not in stores with them. So it was
just on the webpage.
Yeah. So that was like a introduction into the large distribution network. Like
and ideally you'd be on the post next to the toters at Lowe's.
Yeah.
Lowe's, if you're paying attention.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's the nice thing with Ace. You'll be able to walk into a good, right now I want to say it's about 220 stores where you will find next to the toter, that strap will be on the shelf.
Nice. There's a friend of mine here in Western PA who I believe owns Aces. We'll talk about that after. I wonder if they're in his stores because he's a good guy.
I'm gonna check mine in Oakmont on the way.
Yeah. Is it in Oakmont?
The Oakmont one is a little there's a secondary company that owns that one.
So we've been trying to find out who they are.
I'll go put it in the suggestion box. I really wish you had this.
We are on the planogram, which is like a standard 1,500 to 2,000 stores.
That's awesome. So, Ace is a good company. I mean, they do things a little differently.
Yeah, they don't.
It's that at the trade show was interesting.
They're not big box style. They're different that way.
Yeah, because it's like a co-op setup.
Yeah.
So when we were at the trade show, what was interesting is you get to meet people that are all independent store owners.
Okay.
Like for the most part. So a guy will be like, I have 3 stores. Somebody might just have 1. Yep. And then you're selling to them, and Ace is kind of making sure everything runs smoothly.
When I lived in Big Sky, there was an Ace hardware store, and it was the hardware store in the entire town. And it was the nearest one was an hour away. Right. And it was it did volume. And the carpet, I asked him, I was like, why don't you replace the carpet? He's like, you kidding me? Yeah. It's like, it's just like, it just gets dirty. It just gets ruined. He goes, this carpet's lasting. I'm sticking with it. Right. So that was pretty wild to see. So then one of the things was you mentioned that you ran into making stuff in China, right? That was a challenge, right?
So our straps, the rubber part, the bungee part of the strap was originally made in China. So we had worked with a U.S. company, and they were headquartered in Minnesota, but all of their factories were in China. And around COVID, I think we went to reorder straps, and they gave us, I want to say it was like 6 to 8 month lead time.
Yeah.
And we were still kind of.
You were used to a 6-week lead time.
Yeah, we were just like younger, and we were like, how? And especially when they wanted like deposits for manufacturing, and they wanted to ship all of the straps at once in a container like that. There was no like, oh, we can ship.
You can fit a lot of straps on a container.
You can fit a lot of straps in a container.
Then you're wondering where your loading dock is, and
and you got to track
what forklift do you have?
Yeah.
And so we ended up saying, I don't think. We just looked at it. We're like, this isn't going to work for what we need. And so we looked around the U.S. and found a molder in California.
Okay.
And then they ended up. They're still our molders today.
Nice.
Nice. And we've grown with them. So that was
what's the Vermont piece? You mentioned a Vermont piece, and another side of it that goes from that side of the country just to keep the shipping even.
The Vermont is the plastic parts that go on the top and stuff.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So like they're different materials. So we have a plastic and then a rubber.
Yeah.
And their manufacturing process.
2 different worlds.
Yeah. And then we kind of bring everything together, package it.
Here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So you see it on shelves in Ace, and then we have a bunch of different ways that this just gets packaged to get out to people. So we've had we have bulk packages for if a hauler would want it.
Yeah.
That we've sent to ones in the past where it's just the parts in a big box.
Nice.
Or we have
there's a Tupperware of the parts.
Yes, and we have 2 packs, one like singles, and now as we have these 2 versions, we're starting to kind of grow a little bit more beyond.
So
that.
do people buy the version? Did you decide to go with just everyone has the auto strap, or there's 2 versions in a sense?
So there are 2 versions because the auto strap is a little bit more complicated to make.
Okay.
And they look like
you said, so similar.
They look extremely similar, but that little notch, like I said, it's very small. It's a pretty precise, like it has to be this wide for it to, if it's too narrow, it just kind of doesn't work. And if it's too wide, then we're not going to have that auto release.
Yep.
So our mold is a little bit nicer. And so it costs just a little bit more. So yeah, we keep both of those.
So you have a price differential solution.
Yes. Okay. And Ace will be taking on just the auto.
Okay.
So there's not really the option between, because auto kind of encompasses the whole market, where the just OG one was more manual focused.
Pure strong strap.
Yeah.
Pure.
Yeah.
Have you tested how strong the strong strap is in the locked mode?
So we've done
like does the strap outlast the bin?
Oh, which is the strap? We've had a lot of customers who have told us that they've walked out to maybe, especially if they've used it with bears, they've walked out to a locked, still functioning strap, but the bin is broken.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are built. We made it so it's polycarbonate and EPDM, which are both like very strong outdoor ready materials.
Yeah. I've thought about using one, like, you know, when your kid wants to like get out of the room, you want to stay in the room.
Yeah.
But maybe that won't make the podcast. We'll see. But Chuck, go ahead.
So how has it's geared towards consumers right now, dads, whatever, who are upset. As we were talking before this, I saw a raccoon run past my trash can. It drives me nuts that they're in my trash can every once in a while. I think I had one, actually. I had one die in my trash can. That was disgusting. Our text thread was. That was gross. But switching from the consumer side, how has it been trying to get adoption, maybe with like a municipality or a couple routes with a hauler or something like that?
I would say difficult.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, we're still, like we had mentioned, the auto release is new this year.
Yeah.
But historically, it's definitely been something that we haven't had a lot of success convincing haulers to say, hey, let's put these on our cans. And I think because of that, we definitely leaned into the consumer side of waste.
Well, I feel like the auto part is a huge win because that feels like it changes the work profile from their side.
Yes.
They don't have to worry about this motion anymore.
It does the complete opposite now that it was intended to do, which the original intention was to keep a lid closed.
Yep.
And now we have that option
Now
so that you can collect it while it's still shut.
But it still keeps the lid down for that couple hour period.
Yeah. And then you get to the rest of the time, you get to use the original. Right. And that just meets your needs. So it's kind of a balance of like, we started to drift in that direction of, okay, we'll see what we can do to make that work.
Is it still pretty trivial to unlock it if it's in the, what is the name of it?
The auto notch, auto mode.
In that mode, it's very easy to do with your hand, right?
Yeah, it's just as easy.
Yes. So what I was thinking about in advance of this, in some towns where I've talked to people, they've got, whatever hauler they have set up to do the residential pickup. And they don't always tip the containers. They often just hand pick the containers, even though it's a name brand 96-gallon container that could be tipped with an arm or something. And the follow on from that is that you just get like buildup in the bottom of the container over time, which is super annoying. I don't know. It just seems like a pretty good alignment there between, I don't want the raccoon in the bin. I don't want the strap being flung 15 feet away, or like, God forbid it hits the driver or something like that. I mean, the thing has 20, 30 pounds of tension in it. And I wanted to tip the bin. So it's like, okay, now it's auto. This is going to work great. The only other thing I was thinking about was if you looked at trying to do any sort of like tracking or partnering with somebody who does some tracking to see if like your container was actually serviced, because in talking to a bunch of haulers, I know they're usually relying on either GPS and the video when somebody complains to say they didn't service your house. And, there's always he said, she said battle there. And, that might be a value add for the hauler side. If you guys explored that of, hey, we tipped your bin because we have a third SKU that has like an NFC or an RFID tag in it.
It's something that we haven't thought about.
Yeah.
But always open to anything. If it gets a hauler
Someone
involved,
wants to pay.
Yeah.
I think the main thing with haulers has been the efficiency aspect of it, which is, does a guy need to get out of the truck in order to unlock or make this so that it can be emptied with the automated arms?
Mm-hmm.
And
when the answer to that was yes, that was kind of where our conversation stopped with a lot of
as it naturally would.
And it's probably the most, as a hauler, the most valid reason.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get out of his
take
thing 1,000 times, right?
And it makes sense, because if you put yourself in the position of one of the drivers, you don't want to be hopping in and out of the truck.
No, dangerous.
Especially like if you're seated on the opposite side, like so you're a left-hand driver and you have to walk all the way around. There's some trucks I'm like, we can make it work. Like when you're the stand-it on the right-hand side driver. But yeah, no, it was always something that we were like, we understand.
So it was the racking our brain around how can we stick to our original design and still change enough to address that issue.
Yeah.
So that took us 9 years to figure out.
If our friend Spencer is out there, he should look at this.
Yeah. Well, and he should. And
it's the trash truck I drove in Texas a couple of years ago.
It's interesting that you mentioned considering where the driver is relative to the truck, because at least in my town, the streets are tight enough where he has to stop, park, get out, and do like 3 houses in a row, and then he gets back in.
Yeah.
And so there's just so many different use cases of how they have to maneuver the material.
Is that, and it's even like, so there's a lot of automated trucks. They still are producing the manual, like rear load trucks as well.
My town just switched its service provider in the last year, and they switched to somebody who is wheeling the carts from curbside. So like we take them to the street, and then they're wheeling them up to a tipper in the middle of the truck. It's not a rear load.
Yeah.
There's no automated arm.
With our last office, that municipality was provided with the automated garbage cans, but they're not serviced by automated trucks.
Wow.
They're what you're explaining, which is you roll them out to the truck and they get tipped.
Yeah.
So it's still the 96-gallon can.
Which I feel bad for anybody that hauls waste and doesn't have any form of tipper. Yeah. That's a collector working, because I was like, those bins get heavy.
The 96 gets heavy.
Yeah. And even the smaller ones, I was like, having a tip, any tip mechanism is like, all right, you're on the right track.
The thing I've learned over the almost 15 years I've been at this, the built world is remarkably resilient to change. Yeah. Right. It's like, that's nice to know that you have a thing.
Yeah.
We own 20 trucks that are doing it a different way.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you guys have a new product you're coming out with that's the blue bag.
Yes.
Spelled wrong. Right.
Yes. Blue bag spelled wrong. Get rid of the E and then make it one word.
But who's the target market in that world?
So that is a reusable recycling bag.
Yeah.
So that is actually where we talk about the strap being like a very hard consumer and then trying to convince haulers. We know that plastic recycling bags are just not good for recycling.
It messes everything up downstream.
Yeah. Whether you're in Pittsburgh, there's plenty of articles like about that. So that's our main reason for creating a blue bag, is to say, hey, just put your recyclables in here.
So that's mom and dad at home. Put it in have that be the bag inside a little bin. Go out and dump that bag in the recycle container.
Yes, just replacing that plastic blue bag.
Yeah, the giant eagle bag.
Yeah. At home, if you're a plastic film bag's pretty lightweight, but when you add 50 of them, you get a box. You guys start adding pounds of plastic over time. So if you use it at home, you get to say, I'm using less plastic.
Yep.
And then also you get to save because you don't have to go and buy recycling bags if that's what you choose to do.
Right.
We focus a lot on the consumer centric side of this, which every problem that the strap and the blue bag solve is geared towards the lifestyle of like a homeowner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when we talk about how it crosses between over into industry, I was talking to a hauler this morning, and it was meeting at the curb is where two parties meet.
Yep.
And the garbage can shows on one side, it's an operation and trucks and landfills. And on the other side, it's kids, a family, and a career.
And they're not there at 5 a.m. when he goes by either.
So
sometimes your dad's running down the street with the can, though.
Exactly.
I've done that.
Exactly.
You
so
have done that.
It's meeting two worlds at that point where two interests collide.
Yeah. It's interesting that Pittsburgh's this element of trash innovation.
Yeah, we've got a lot of.
It's a strange little thing. This town's trash. We were Steel Town. Now we're doing trash. No, I mean, your business is kind of AI proof in a way, isn't it?
I think, yeah, because it's based on physical goods. I would hope.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. No computers coming out the pull on that.
Yeah.
Well, so I have a game I want to play if you guys are in for it. I do this at trade shows and stuff. And I like to do this thing where I go, okay, does your profile picture on LinkedIn match your thing in real life, right? So we'll start with Justin. Justin is in LinkedIn land. He is the Green Goblin. And
Hulk, give him
Hulk. You think Hulk?
A hero.
Boost him up a little bit,
I think that is not close. Now I will give you that your brand on here is there. Right?
He's branded.
This is all
portrait.
Well branded, right? You got the brother, it's all there, right? Unfortunately, I can get myself in order here. Quentin's better than you on appearances, right? I mean, if you look at him, he's polished up there, right? That's him. That's who he is. But he fails one of the basic tests in that his brand is the unknown Blazer brand, LLC. So he doesn't actually work for the company according to LinkedIn, which is
fake one.
Which is, you can address that later, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
You're the older brother.
I'm the older brother, but I don't know if I'm in charge.
Well, I see head of product and operations, and you got all your stuff right. So I figured that's something to go after, right?
There we go.
Justin is more tech side of this, so
he definitely
is more aligned. Yeah.
Now, right? Yeah. Well,
lightning round.
Lightning round.
All
so right. The other thing we do at the end of these things is we run through a lightning round. These can be silly, but it's just quick questions, right? Either one can answer. So start with the easy one. Is the Pope Catholic?
Yes.
Okay. You know what school he went to?
No.
Villanova. We both went to Villanova.
So there you go. So
you like to get that in there every time you can, right?
Like, I'm not sure.
In case the Pope needs a podcast to go on, you never know. The Vatican has trash, I'm sure. So, okay, who won the last actual fight between you two?
Oh gosh.
Trying to think. What was the last fight we had?
Wednesday or
which one were we talking about? Yeah, I don't know.
It's been that long, huh?
It's been a minute since we've
been that long.
Yeah.
We've been like really like fighting the outside world.
Yeah.
So we're like team now, but I will go with.
But we definitely. Yeah.
I will go with Quentin.
Sometimes when we need to keep.
He's a bit. I would just assume that it would be Quentin.
Yes.
Brian has 9 years on me, so he gets to claim all the physical altercations. Yeah. Although, I'm getting bigger than
you are
in many ways.
Yeah. You've grown taller and wider.
Yeah.
All right. So Steelers, Pirates, or Penguins? Which team would you own?
Pirates.
You're a Pirates guy. Both Pirates guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one would you coach?
Oh, Steelers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like football coach.
All right. And which one would you play for?
Why don't you answer first?
Penguins would be.
You play Pens?
Yeah.
I would be Pirates.
All right. A mix of everything. Right on that thing. Mario or Crosby?
I'll have to go with Crosby.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a Mario guy. No offense. No offense there. Chuck,
Roethlisberger or Jerry Bradshaw?
Ooh, I feel like our dad would be disappointed if we said Roethlisberger, but I'll say Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
You could say Neil. You could go with the outside pick of Neil O'Donnell.
That's a good question.
No, he wasn't on the list, but write-in candidate.
I would think this is an easy one. Clemente or Bonds?
Oh, Clemente.
Where we need a more difficult question.
I said some of these are absurd. Okay, so then to wrap us up, give us a story of the favorite or strangest strong strap installation you're aware of. Don't name their name. We don't want them. We don't want them.
Strangest installation I'm aware of?
Yeah, I don't know. There's one I saw of this bear with two of them. This bear's got two of them.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty wild. I've never seen a double. I never thought of that.
I've seen there's been a triple one.
Oh,
somebody
really?
tripled up. So there's that. I think like
they're protecting.
Do you sell a discount? Is that like, they buy a 3-pack?
If you buy a 2-pack, you do get a discount.
Oh, there you go.
We save on that. I don't know if it's directly this, but one of the strangest messages relating to installing a strong strap. One time I had a woman that said she doesn't need it anymore because her daughter's boyfriend invented something better. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to let that one just sit there and you're free to return it. But yeah, that was probably one of the most unique reasons.
She bought it 4 years ago and
she was like, yeah. And I was like, it was funny when we got our patent, there was a term they used, which was impermissible hindsight, which was to say the patent examiner said that when you look at this, it's pretty simple and you're going to immediately absorb what you're learning here and you're going to feel like you've known it your whole life. And so that was one of the things that they gave us or noted on ours was it's something that as soon as you look at it, you kind of start to get it. Mm-hmm. And I always found that kind
which
of
is an awesome benefit.
Yes.
To your marketing and everything.
Yeah. So when she was like, when she was like my daughter's boyfriend, I was like, did he look at ours? Did he use it as inspiration? Right. So we went, well, that was funny for me.
Have you seen that product since?
No.
We never saw it.
We've had a couple people that have mentioned that they would make something different, but we don't have them yet.
We run into that in our world too, where people will say, well, I'm just going to code this thing up. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right. Because building something, and as you described, building something is hard, but then building something, deploying it and maintaining it is an order of magnitude harder.
Yeah.
Right.
And filtering in the hundreds or thousands of feedback comments and wishes and desires.
Yes.
It's a complicated bit.
When you jump in at first, it's like a wave hits you with like an objection that you really feel like you're almost falling short on.
Yep.
But then you start to realize what your true goal is and how you may not hit everybody's desire, whether it's for bears. Like a lot of our harshest reviews came from people who tried it with bears. So we were like,
put very big on it. We're like not bear proof, right?
Yeah. Like, are you aware of the Discovery Center out in West Yellowstone where they test this stuff?
We are. There was one in Asheville, North Carolina as well. So I think they probably do grizzly bears out there, and they focus on black bears here. So I think we know about it. I know with like a grizzly brown bear, I'm like, just don't even try. Like there's certain things that aren't meant to.
The hook on that bear is bigger than my hand. Right?
Yes.
Claw. Yeah.
And their forearms are probably incredibly strong.
Yeah. There's a
make a good logo out of that.
Yeah, true.
There's a grizzly bear rehabilitation center in West Yellowstone, and they will send trash bins there for people to test them because the bears they're in captivity for whatever reason. They were bad bears or they were whatever, injured. And it's funny, the videos, because they destroy things.
Yeah.
Right.
The bears have gotten very smart, at least in those test centers.
Bears and crows.
Yeah.
Crows are also very smart at getting trash out of things.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think the bears thing was our like unexpected, that we created something for a raccoon. So when we see somebody using it for something even bigger, it's like, for us, I've never seen a bear around me. So it wasn't in our calculation when we were creating the product. So it's interesting to see other people even try.
When it does work for a bear, people get very excited.
Yeah, this one in the video worked great.
They get very excited because they're like, this is way easier than some of those contraptions.
Yeah, the bear proof one's a little finger thing.
You got to sell the bear proof one that's triple.
Yeah.
It's 3 in 1.
Just 3 and call it 1.
But even then, I still think a bear.
I'm sure they could.
Smart bear will figure it out.
Yeah.
You just could say
the bin.
It was waterproof, and then we went to water resistant. Maybe you could say like bear deterrent, or
that's where if you're a dumb or lazy bear.
I think I've written before that we're an average at best bear deterrent.
That's a great place to wrap up.
Yeah.
An average at best bear deterrent. Right? How do we make our things into something that is average at best bear deterrent?
You know, trying to get through life at average. That would be good.
Well, thank you for coming. This is great. Hopefully we'll see you guys again. You're over in the Strip District now?
Yes.
So when I have to do a detour one day down Route 28, I'll swing through if traffic gets bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for having us on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Happy to have the Blazer Brand Brothers in the do we have a name for this? The Dolan Brothers Studio.
The All Pittsburgh podcast.
The All Pittsburgh podcast today. Yeah. Good luck to our sports teams. And why don't you check out the links below for the Waste Nexus, both podcast and event in this fall. And you can apply there and come get to hang out and see some bright smiling faces.
And if you want to sit at this table, let us know.
Yeah, you're welcome to, do the lightning round. And man, Brian's going to keep asking if Pope's Catholic until he's blue in the face and better baseball pick question on the next one. So, yeah, thank you for joining us today, and hope you have a good one.